Hey YouTube, continuing on with our decks here. So in the next one, I'm probably going to do Thavas. We'll save the other two for last. So Thavas is actually probably like one of the most competitive ones. Thavas, Maelstrom, and Ripple, in my opinion, seem like they're pretty good. So I'm not saying that Blue Waves are bad and Blue Storms are bad, but Thavas, I just feel like his on-stride skill helps where the other decks wouldn't have access to that. And just a couple of things, like his even his CB02 skill with the Silent Tom effect is also pretty decent. So start off 4 Thavas, or 4 one who surpasses the storms, or one who surpasses the storm Thavas. So if you watched my unboxing videos of the boosters, you saw that I pulled the SP. Decided to keep it, because it looks really cool. So 4 of Thavas. He's just a very good Vanguard for the clan. The backup is Jockey of the Great Sea Skyros. Max was in here before. Max is pretty good. Zaharias would have also been a pretty good backup. That's what I was running before. But Skyros is just really good because he is an answer to problem decks for the clan Aquaforce has. So like Link Joker, Kagero, even Narukami somewhat, and well, yeah, Narukami too, because a lot of them do attack or retire front row. But yeah, so Mega Colony, basically defensive decks that try to like pick away at your field. Jockey is the answer to that type of stuff. So those decks were ones that Aquaforce traditionally used to just always default lose against. So now they actually have a pretty good chance with this guy. So I put him in here because I want the boss to be one of the more competitive decks, at least from playtesting all the different ones. I feel like Jockey, I mean, this deck is not very sub-clan focused, so although it did become quite a bit focused on having Thavas as a Vanguard name with some of the new support cards, but Skyros is still very good, so I ran him as the backup. For grade 2s, 4 Battle Siren Adelaide. So she is so I took Tidal Assault out basically, because I only have 4 copies of Tidal Assault, so I put Tidal Assault in my Blue Wave deck. And I put her in here at 4 copies. So she is pretty good because on the turn that she's placed on R, if you have GB1, you can counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. I don't know why. I really don't understand why it's Soul Blast 1, but whatever. I mean, she's GB1 restricted already. So anyway, she swings as 11k, and she stands up and she's still 11k. So pretty good for 4th Battle Enabler. And then, of course, the 4 Magnum Assaults. These are the Thavas Tidal Assaults. So, yeah, I know a lot of competitive builds are going to run both him and Tidal Assault. But I wanted to try her out. And so far, I really like how she and Magnum Assault don't lose power like Tidal Assault does. So they can swing at Vanguard, assuming they don't check any critical trigger on the first, if they no guard the first attack, they can swing at the Vanguard like without a booster. So I like that. So yeah, 4 Magnum Assault because we're not running any Tidal Assault, so you can obviously run the max copies of this guy. And then 3 High Tide Sniper. I didn't take him out, even though I felt like trying out some of those newer cards, but I decided to just throw the newer cards in other decks. So High Tide Sniper. Because with Lambros, he's just really, really scary. So, yeah. That's a grade 2 lineup, pretty self-explanatory. So we got 8 cards here already that can hit 4th. For grade 1s, because the deck is super counterblast heavy, Magnum Assault's going to be counterblasting multiple times. Adelaide's going to be counterblasting when she's placed on R to get that restand effect. You need to run these. And then 4, it's the boss deck, and it's very stride heavy. So 4 Kelpie Rider, so Stride Enabler and the boss Searcher. And then 3 Stacia, because she just helps you get 4th battle. And then 3 of a new card. So 3 Battle Siren Melania. Nice thing about her, one thing, she has resist. But she is Thavas specific. Just like Adelaide. Adelaide can only activate her effect when Thavas, or you have a Vanguard with Thavas in the name. Same thing with this. So her effect is wave 3 or more. When she attacks a Vanguard, and you have Thavas as a Vanguard, you can counterblast 1, and then draw a card, and she gets 5k. So she can also potentially swing at a Vanguard as a 12k attacker, which is pretty nice for a grade 1. This is an example. This card is a very good example of power creep for this clan, because she's got resist and she can swing at a Vanguard as a grade 1 with a 12k attack. So that's pretty good. But it is Thavas restricted, so can't splash it in the other decks. And the downside of this deck is these 2 cards don't work with Jockey, although you can still stride into Thavas, so then they can get their effects. So we have a total of 11 cards. For those wondering, we have 11 ways to get 4th battle in here, which is pretty decent. 12 is usually the ideal. Anything over that is starting to borderline on overkill, because then you don't have enough tech cards and stuff like this and stuff like other things. So for the trigger lineup, for Malika, because we rely heavily on Stacia, and she can refill the soul. So High Tide Sniper and Adelaide has more soul fodder to use their effects. Next, for Kelpie Rider Petros. So this is the personal trigger card for Thavas. So it's the one like the Thump Worker. You put in the soul when your Vanguard with Thavas name attacks. You can draw a card and the Vanguard gets 5k. So pretty decent. Just like her, it refills soul and replenishes itself. Next, 4 more cards that can go in the soul. So for Supersonic Sailor, he goes in the soul and he unflips the damage. The deck is very counterblast heavy with all the Adelaide plays and the Magnum Assault restanding with the CB1. So because of Magnum Assault, mainly because of Magnum Assault, we gotta run 4 of these. So that's why I saved them for my Thavas deck. And then 4 Battle Siren Carolina. Just seal trigger. And then the starter is Kelpie Rider Mirror Metros. I could run Andre in here, but I want to try the new one, and I like that this searches the Thavas, calls on the field, and then at the end it puts it in your hand. I wish Murakumo had stuff like that, because I think that's kind of like a Murakumo style thing. But anyway, helps you get an extra attack in, so it could potentially help you get 4th battle. So we do actually have 12 ways to get 4th battle. And also, at the end, that grade 3 goes back to your hand, so it doesn't get locked by Link Joker. And it gives you that stride fodder. So very good, deck thin, stuff like that. And it doesn't use any counterblast, so that's why I like it in here. For stride units, 1 Aristotle, so you can retire pesky things. If you don't have this card, it's not a big deal. You can run Socrates or a second Talibor or whatever. But I am running the Talibor. It's still pretty good for stride. And then 2 Storm Dominator Commander Thavas. This is usually your 2nd stride, but sometimes it can be 3rd stride. It depends on how the field's set up and how the match has been playing out. But yeah, 2 Thavas, 2 Lambros because he's really good, and then the other 2 could be either of these. So it could be 2 more Thavas if you want to lean more heavily on the Thavas plays, or it can lean more heavily on Lambros if you have Lambros, but Lambros is really hard to get and he's really expensive. So I would probably lean on 2 more of the Commander Thavas. Also, nice thing about Thavas is because of all the Adelaide and because of the Battle Sirens, if you're running the 4th Thavas, you can potentially be on Jockey for the game And then when you're striding, you can stride into this guy, so you can be able to call her down, make her restand, and then this thing can be doing its thing in the back as well. So that's the nice thing about running the 4 Thavas. I feel like the deck was actually designed to run 4 of these. But Lambros is just really good, so... yeah, but otherwise, I would say any combination like that, where it's like 4 of this or 4 of that, and then these 2 guys, or even like for me, I'd probably run Socrates and another Total Bore, or maybe another one of these. But yeah, that was the deck, guys. Hope you enjoyed that deck profile. Let me know what you guys think of the starter versus Andre and some of the other choices. But I just thought I'd make a deck that didn't focus on Tile Assault, but it still was Thavas focused. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the deck profile, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.